Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this clip, I'm going to be talking to you about the 12 disciples, the 12 aspects of the human mind, which when called into discipleship, transform you into a being of power. Now, this was a subject very close to Neville Goddard's heart, and I'm going to be reading from his book, bits and pieces from the chapter, The 12 Disciples, which is in the book, Your Faith is Your Fortune. And I'll leave a link to where you can buy a copy of that book, I think through Amazon, something like that. I'll put a link in the description bar below. So please check that out. I know you can get the books free online as PDFs, but I don't think there's anything that quite beats the physical book in your hand. Now, I want to say something about the mind. The human mind is the umbilicus. It is the beating heart of your body of consciousness. So remember, everything in the physical world is a typification of everything in the realm of consciousness, in the realm of infinite creative potential, or the fourth dimension. You are a body, an actual person. Your human aspect is akin to a child that is carried by a woman. The thing that connects the two of you is the mind on the human side, but the heart, the processing, thinking and feeling organ of your body of consciousness. So just as we have organs that play different roles in our physical bodies, so too do we have spiritual organs that play their separate parts. Remember, everything here is a typification or a symbol of what's going on in the real world. This is the world of shadow. So your heart, the thing that connects you to your mother, your human aspect to your mother, yourself, is your mind, the heart of your body of consciousness. There was some work that was done, some spiritual work, where students were told to use this term, "Mummy and I are one." If I can find that, I'll put it in the link in the box below. If not, don't worry about it. But it talks about that unity between the two aspects of yourself, your body of consciousness and your human aspect, your mother. The umbilicus is your human mind. Okay, so let's dive right in. I'm going to put on these. So this is a subject that just gets me acting all cuckoo. So I don't know how I'm going to behave while I'm reading this stuff. So just bear with me. I'm just looking at the timer as well. The 12 disciples. It begins, "And when he had called unto him his 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits," or destabilizing emotions, sometimes called negative emotion or negative energy. Those are unclean spirits, "to cast them out and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease." So those are the products of destabilizing emotions. Sickness and disease, such as we call them, the negative conditions and circumstances of our lives, are the products of unclean spirits or destabilizing emotions. That is taken from, in the Bible, Matthew chapter 10, verse 1. Now, remember, the Bible is not a religious document in that sense of the word. It's not something I'm talking about in this clip. Okay, so please don't expect to hear about that. But we're going to just talk about the different disciples. I'll read a bit from the book and then I'll make a comment. But I want you to open your mind as you hear about these characters. You're going to hear about 12 allegorical characters, the 12 disciples that people who've grown up in the Christian faith have been taught with the people that were around Jesus. Well, they are actually the 12 aspects of your great, powerful, limitless human mind. Okay, let's dive in. The 12 disciples represent the 12 qualities of mind which can be controlled and disciplined by anyone. If disciplined, they will at all times obey the command of the one who has disciplined them. And this is why your life gets transformed, gets elevated into something completely new when you hear about these 12 aspects of your mind. Okay, let's start. The first quality to be called and disciplined is Simon, or the attribute of hearing. This faculty, when lifted to the level of a disciple, permits only such impressions to reach consciousness as those which his hearing has commanded him to let enter. No matter what the wisdom of man, humankind, men, women, people, might suggest, or the evidence of his senses convey. When you discipline this aspect of your mind, you only permit honorable and distinguished things to enter your mind. This begins the process of you becoming a person of excellence. You don't hear, you're not moved by everything. In fact, when you disciple or discipline this part of your mind, Simon is given the surname Peter, or the rock, which means that you become an unmovable and unshakable person. So imagine, no matter what you hear, you are unmoved. You are only permitting honorable, dignified things to reach you. And those are the impressions that you will then make on consciousness. So we're going to start to think about what we allow ourselves to hear, how we can begin to discipline this aspect of mind. You become deaf deliberately. Learn to become neutral. Have no emotional response to things you hear that are not beneficial to you, that are not in line with dignity, with excellence. Just become deaf to that. We have the ability, the capacity to ignore things we don't want to have any interest in. We have that ability, and that's how you begin the process of disciplining this aspect of your mind. Okay, when Simon, as I said, proves himself, he's given the surname Peter the Unmovable. Okay, the second quality to be called into discipleship is Andrew, or courage. Once you have learned to really put your hearing filter on, your courage in yourself is built, and faith in yourself is built. So if you are somebody who gets moved and you're wishy-washy, your faith can't really be called faith because it's unstable. But when you have courage, when you have strong belief in yourself, that's when you really develop strong faith. And this is essential when it comes to you manifesting the things you want. Okay, I don't want to get lost here. This subject is just everything to me. The faith of the undisciplined man, as I was saying, cannot really be called faith. For if the armies, the medicines or wisdom of humankind in which he puts his faith is taken from him, his faith and courage go with it. So if we believe in the physical world and believe in everything that we're told, and suddenly things change or things disappear, our courage will fail us. Our faith will disappear. And so the faith we want to establish, the faith we want to develop, is faith in ourselves. The courage we want to establish is courage in ourselves. That's why I don't look to the systems of life to give me what I want, to give me a boost, to give me a backbone. I have courage, I have confidence in myself because I've disciplined that aspect of my mind. Okay. The next two who are called are also related. These are the brothers James and John. James the just, the righteous judge, and his brother John the beloved. The just judge, the blindfolded judge. You see that in courts, the lady justice is blind. We become blind. I'm not talking about literally blind. We learn to shut out things, the appearance of things that deny that what we want is in accordance with our highest ideal. Okay, so James sees only the truth. We become blind to physical or objective appearances, the way things seem to be, and we know that there is a way that things truly are. John the beloved is that aspect of us that enables us to empathize with each other. Why do we love each other? Where does that come from? Why are children who are subject to abusive parents able to love their parents? Why do siblings love each other? Why do we form connections of love, bonds with strangers who then become our intimate partners and our spouses? Why do parents love their children? Why do children love their parents? All this ability not to seek retribution when someone harms you. Where does that come from? Where does the power of forgiveness come from? The aspect of mind known as John. So I apologize if I am really badly jet lagged, but I'm so excited about this and I really appreciate the viewer who requested this subject. The disciple James, symbol of a disciplined judgment, must, when raised to the high office of a supreme judge, Be blindfolded that he may not be influenced by the flesh. So even if your own physical body is telling you that you are sick, you say, no, I'm healthy. Oh, there's no money in the bank. No, I'm very wealthy. You have no friends. Yes, you're loved by everyone. Oh, let me contain myself. With neither condemnation nor criticism, these disciplined qualities of the mind permit everyone to be that which he is. Do you understand why this is so important, John the Beloved? When you see someone and you think that that person is a horrible person, you know that that person is playing a role that they were mandated to play. And you know that in the center of them, the core of them, that their mother is neutral, is infinite love, infinite creative potential personified. And you are able to forgive anyone for anything they seem to have done. You allow them to be what they are. We want right now in this moment, the community, the global community, want people to change their behavior. Stop being a criminal. Stop being an oppressor. Stop being this. Stop being that. Stop hurting children. Stop stealing. Stop whatever. Stop being horrible, Mr. Trump. But instead of seeing all of those things, we allow them to be what they are. Infinite creative potential. And then they change. We don't need to tell people to do things differently. We need to see them through the eyes of love and allow them to be what they truly are. The moment you're able to do that, your relationship with every living person is going to change. I promise you. Okay, let's move on. The fifth quality, because I'm looking at the timer here, let me not get carried away. The fifth quality called to discipleship is Philip. This one asked to be shown the Father, the awakened man. The awakened man knows that the Father is the state of consciousness in which man dwells, and that this state or Father can be seen only as it is expressed. He knows himself to be the perfect likeness or image of that consciousness with which he is identified. Don't worry about the word he, the pronoun he. It refers to mankind. So esoterically, there is no gender. This is not about gender or biological status or anything else. It's just language. So when we disciple that aspect of our mind, Philip, we know that the awakened man is the state of consciousness that we seek to embody. Okay, I don't need to say too much about that. This aspect of mind, when disciplined, persists until ideas, ambitions, and desires become embodied reality. This is the quality which states, "Yet in my flesh shall I see God." This is the part of you that knows that although I cannot physically see whatever it is I want yet, I know it is real. And enables you to see it. Isn't that exciting? The sixth disciple is called Bartholomew. This changed everything for me. This quality is the imaginative faculty, which quality of the mind, when once awake, distinguishes one from the masses. You can do anything and be anything. An awakened imagination places the one so awakened head and shoulders above the average man, giving him the appearance of a beacon of light in a world of darkness. Instead of developing the imagination of humankind, of people, our educational system oftentimes stifles it by attempting to put into the mind of man the wisdom he seeks. It forces him to memorize a number of textbooks, which all too soon are disproved by later textbooks. What more can I say? I'm not saying don't do your homework or don't study, but I am saying that there is nothing that compares to the discipling of your imaginative faculty. Remember, we might have limits. Our children might not be able to do everything that we can do, symbolically speaking, just as we might not be able to do everything our mother, our actual personage of consciousness, can do. But to the imaginative faculty, there is no limit. And all that's going to happen is that your limitless body is going to transmit these new expressions to its child, your human aspect. The seventh is called Thomas. This disciplined quality doubts or denies every rumor and suggestion that are not in harmony with that which Simon Peter has commanded to let enter. This is self-explanatory. I do strongly encourage you to read this chapter. I'm not reading all that Neville has written here. When you've read it, you know, the rest is history, as they say. But Thomas says, just because I can't see the thing doesn't mean it's not real. I doubt, I deny what my senses are telling me, my human senses are telling me. I deny the appearances that are not in harmony with what I feel, with what I know is a fact. Ooh, this quality of denial, when disciplined, protects you from receiving impressions that are not in harmony with your nature, meaning the state that you have assumed. Anything that tells you otherwise, you are able to deny its existence. And when you deny its existence, it will fade away. Okay. Matthew the 8th is the gift of God. This quality of mind reveals man's desires as gifts of God. I say this to absolutely everything I meet, every person, I meet. Your desire is not something you really, really want. Your desire is something you really, really have. This disciple also knows that this gift contains within it the plan and purpose of its self-expression. So not only how it's going to become a reality and a part of your physical life, but why. It's a gift. You don't have to do anything other than accept, receive that gift, consent to it. Just say yes by feeling its reality. Sorry. I'm going to get some coffee in a minute. Okay. The ninth disciple is called James, the son of Alphaeus. This is the quality of discernment, a clear and ordered mind. A clear and ordered mind is the voice which calls this disciple into being. This faculty governs that which is not received or revealed to the eye of man. This disciple judges not from appearances, for it has the capacity to function in the realm of cause, and so is never misled by appearances. Can you imagine the difference to you that discipleship of this aspect of your human mind will make? Can you imagine your ability to discern, to function in the realm of cause? You know where the thing is coming from. You know how that whole thing works. And so nothing in the physical realm moves you. You know how things really are. Ooh. Ooh. Thaddeus, the 10th, is the disciple of praise, a quality in which the undisciplined man is woefully lacking. The part of us that causes us to complain instead of say, thank you, everything is good. Praise is so important. It's such a stabilizing energy. Thanksgiving, it's partnered with peace. Okay, so when you recognize that everything is good, when that's your default, thank you, everything is good, that enables you to sustain the feeling that what you want is already here and enables it to show up in no time at all. When we become anxious, we are not allowing Simon Peter to do its job. We're letting other things in, and that's going to destabilize us a little bit. It's going to make things take a little bit longer to happen. But when we are always thankful, everything is good, nothing moves us. Right now, the whole world is in a state of uproar. But you can be in a state of perpetual peace. When you're in that state, that means you're not joining in. Remember, people are looking around, seeking for things they can't find, looking for solutions that don't exist. You are able to pour in the oil and wine. I believe that this Thaddeus lives in a land of milk and honey. Is that correct? The man who is not thankful for things received is not likely to be the recipient of many gifts from the same source. Until this quality of the mind is disciplined, humankind, people, when I say man, that's what I mean, will not see the desert blossom as the rose. Praise and thanksgiving are to the invisible gifts of God, one's desires, what rain and sun are to the unseen seeds in the bosom of the earth. Let me read that again. Praise and thanksgiving are to the invisible gifts of God, our desires, what rain and sun are to the unseen seeds in the bosom of the earth. When we are able to say thank you, even in moments when there's seemingly not much to be thankful about, we are opening ourselves up to receive many gifts from the same source. If we're faithful over a little, we'll be made faithful over much. And instead of joining in, you are able to be the recipient of these gifts, to be an example. Remember, it said earlier, a beacon of light. You're set head and shoulders above the crowd, and you're able to inspire in others the question, what is your secret? How do I get that too? This is what we're here for. This is all about learning and discovery. Just going to wrap up the 11th quality, called Simon of Canaan. A good key phrase for this disciple is hearing good news. Simon of Canaan, or Simon from the land of milk and honey. I knew someone was from the land of milk and honey, but it's all linked. It's all to do with praise and thanksgiving. When called to discipleship is proof that the one who calls this faculty into being has become conscious of the abundant life. So it is still part of praise and thanksgiving. That's another subject. All of these aspects can be subjects, but praise and thanksgiving is so huge. So yes, I know I attributed that to Thaddeus, but it is the same. It's not different, so don't worry about that. Simon of Canaan is the hearer of good news. Okay, the 12th and last of the disciplined qualities of the mind is called Judas. We know Judas to be the betrayer, but listen to this. When this quality is awake, we know that we must first die to what we are before we can become that which we have been gifted to be. That's what I say. So when I use the word desire, I often say gift, so that I'm able to maintain what that means. What an incredible story. The 12 aspects of the human mind, something that the world of medicine and science can't quite explain because it's a spiritual organ, when brought together, transforms us, because it really cements the union between who you truly are, who you actually are, and the child, the human aspect that you are presently wearing. We bear many children during our time here. Again, that's a subject for another day. I really hope you've enjoyed this travel through the 12 aspects of mind. Remember, the human mind is the beating heart of your body of consciousness. When you are able to unify all those aspects and to discipline them, you transform your life. Now, how do you do that? It's wonderful to hear what they can do. How can we discipline them? We can be very deliberate about things that we do. For example, become deaf, learn to ignore things that are not consistent with what you want to hear. Ignore in terms of what you consume, what you read, what you take part in. If those things don't feel to you that they are consistent with what you want to be, then you can set them aside. Now, how this applies to all 12 aspects. I'm not going to go through each of them now in turn, but remember, your body of consciousness, your actual self, knows what the highest ideal, the highest version of your human aspect is. It knows this at all times, and it's just waiting to transmit those qualities to you. Okay? When you are doing something, anything, you are disciplining your the 12 aspects of your mind when you can feel that what you're doing is good for you. Remember, it registers above your solar plexus, around your physical heart, around in the back of your throat, the epiglottis region of your throat. That is a signal that this is in line with what you should be doing, in line with what is good for you and good for those around you. The feelings beneath your solar plexus are signals that this is taking you away from the discipline of your human mind. I am so thrilled, honored, privileged, humbled, awed to be able to share this message with you. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next upload.